Oh boy, here we go.
From Dublin, but I come to Mayo every weekend. But I wanted to talk about what the situation is like where I live, because you have not seen what was coming yet, and I have. Where I live is about 85% foreign nationals. I can walk down the street on any given day, walk into the supermarket, and I don't hear an Irish conversation. I hear foreign people everywhere. My child is one of 30 children in her class, and she's the only Irish child. She came home crying from school a few weeks ago because she doesn't understand what any of her friends are saying. The children revert back to their own languages when they're not being taught. She literally cannot understand the conversations around her. But when Halloween came around there a few months ago, last year she was allowed to dress up. Sorry, the year before last she was allowed to dress up. This year she wasn't allowed to dress up. And when I asked the school why, they said they didn't want to offend people. But I don't go for.
Ooh. See, this is the problem. Y'all need to quit. Y'all need to start differentiating what a feeling is rather than just letting things be the way they are and what the truth is. Too many people nowadays are choosing what they feel and how they feel and what they think and what they believe to be truthful, or to just be what the normal should be. It's not normal. Just because you feel, think, assume, accuse, and believe anything or whatever the case may be doesn't mean you're right.
Walk around the park during the day with my child anymore. I have a big dog and I don't go for a walk by myself anymore. I very rarely leave my house because where I live is so unsafe.
That's so sad. Like, this is so sad. And this, okay, so like, I love using the Jurassic World Alive community as a great example, or a bunch of analogies, or a bunch of hypotheticals. So like texting, for instance, okay? There's not that many people in the Jurassic World Alive community, at least from my knowledge, at least from what I believe and what I've seen and what I've encountered. Again, this doesn't mean that this is a fact. Okay, this is just because, again, like I said 30 seconds ago, this is what I believe, this is what I think, this is how I feel, this is what I assume, and this is what I accuse others of. But it doesn't mean I'm right, and I'm trying to figure out if I'm right or wrong. But I love using the Jurassic World Alive community as a great example. They don't even have a chat on the app for mobile phone. And there's millions and millions and millions of players that play this game, right? Or this app, actually, because obviously mobile apps aren't technically games. But anyway, so when somebody, so you got to use Discord and Discord channels and stuff. When people text on Discord, like say you're Latin, or even let's just say like I don't know, you speak German or something, right? But you're trying to speak English and it's not your first language. That's okay. That's fine. I applaud you for not only knowing, I applaud you for knowing many different languages. But the problem is these people, they try to talk the way we talk and they assume that we're going to understand what they mean, and vice versa. We try talking like other people talk, or like Germans talk, and we assume that they're going to understand what we mean. And half the time that's not the case. And so like texting and emailing, I've always said, it's a very convenient form of communication, but it's very bad at actually communicating, because you don't have body language, you don't have tone of voice, you don't have facial expressions, you don't have three key components that human civilization has been using for hundreds and thousands and millions of whatever the case may be years to communicate with one another. How do you think a blind person is going to read a text message? They're not going to. It has to be Braille. But if they're blind, they can at least hear your tone of voice. They can at least hear what you're saying. How is somebody that's deaf gonna understand a text message? Yeah, they could read it, but more than likely they're going to misinterpret it tremendously, because they cannot hear your tone of voice. They can't hear what you're actually saying and how you're actually saying it. All they hear is what you're saying. And I'm using a very small minority as an example, but this goes right in line with texting and emailing. Again, it's a very convenient form of communication, but to actually properly communicate with one another, it's effing terrible. And all it does is it misinterprets others with others. It makes people assume other people's intentions without actually that more than likely being the actual intention that they assume. And this is like, I'm sure the vast majority of people are not afraid of immigrants, okay? I'm all about, if you live in another country and you want to come over here, I'm all about it, man. I'm all about it. But you have to do it the right way, and you have to have the right intentions, and you also have to have what we have in America, share the same culture that we have. You can't just come over here and hate America and expect us to accept you. It doesn't work like that. There's a thing where, so like tribalism in our species. Tribalism has been in our species for, again, hundreds and thousands and millions of years, and the fact that we believe that it's not a thing blows my mind. To me, these things are just common sense, but apparently to the average individual, it's not. It doesn't make any sense to me.
And that is the reality that you're facing if you don't make a stand. And I understand it's really, really hard to be called names and all of these things. But you have to stand up on behalf of your children and the future of the country. The landscape of this country is changing completely.
And she's not wrong. And this is kind of like what the Democrats kind of wanted. See, this is like globalism. This is basically globalism at its finest. We're trying to accept a bunch of people that don't share the same values, don't have the same culture, don't even participate in the same language. And we think that they could be accepted into our country, aka like here in her country. Again, nobody's against immigration. Nobody is. But you have to do it the right way. There's got to be a vetting process. There just has to be, okay? Now, maybe 200, 500 years from now, yeah, maybe things will be a little bit different, okay? I don't disagree with that. But at the same time, I don't think anyone really even recognizes either. Like, our landscape moves. Continents move. There's a reason why there's fault lines. There's a reason why there's earthquakes. Things move, okay? We live a very short amount of life as humans. If you're lucky, you get to live past 80 years old. If you're lucky. Actually, no. You know what? I'll even say, if you're lucky, you get to live past 65. If you're lucky and fortunate enough. And you've done the right thing throughout your whole life, ate properly, exercised, and this and that, and everything. But this is so disheartening. As a father to a son that is in elementary school, I like to put my son in her daughter's shoes and kind of think about it from my son's perspective and then everyone else's perspective. I would be devastated. I'd be doing the same thing she's doing. I wouldn't be as calm probably as her. I'd probably be like, listen, this needs to stop. Like, I'd be more assertive. I'd be more aggressive. I'd be more straight to the point. But this is the difference between men and women. Men are argumentative. Most men are unagreeable. Most women are agreeable. Most women are not argumentative. But it's starting to change, which is very strange. There's a reason why men are stronger than women and women are not as strong as men. There's a reason why most men are taller than women and most women are not taller than men. There's a reason why men have deeper voices and women have softer voices. As a man, all we want is our girl to be our peace, our comfort, and that's it. It's that simple. That's all we want. That's all we care about. Okay? Yeah, you can have an opinion. Yeah, you can have a career. Yeah, you could be loud. You could be outspoken if you're a woman. That's fine. But I'm telling you right now, you're not gonna get the man you want, and you're not gonna end up being with the man that you actually need and want in long term. And there's another difference that I've noticed with men and women. Most men think long term, aka logically with reason. Most women think short term, with feelings and thoughts and beliefs and what they think. Again, like I said earlier in this video, you can think, feel, and believe all you want. That doesn't mean that you are right.